Now let's break down a rumor which Nick Carter, crypto influencer, has doubled down on this theory that Bitcoin was invented by the NSA. So let's break this down, and then we'll be breaking down the latest from the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, sending the Bitcoin price to a new parabolic all-time high of $1.5 million per coin, literally ushering in $30 trillion from the total addressable market, entering into the Bitcoin market cap. And then we'll dive into our live Q&A. And again, shout out to everyone just joining us. So here we go. This is a very interesting story. Bitcoin advocate Nick Carter had come out to reiterate his support for the theory that the U.S. National Security Agency had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin. September 15th, Iris Energy co-founder Daniel Roberts seemingly revived the decade-old theory on X after posting screenshots of the 1996 paper titled How to Make a Mint, the Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash. The paper is one of the first known discussions of a Bitcoin-like system, which proposes using public key cryptography to allow users to make anonymous payments without revealing their identity. The footer notes show the research paper was prepared by NSA employees. Sources included cryptography expert Kazuaki Akamoto, who co-invented the Akamoto public key crypto system in 1998. Now, on September 21st, yesterday, Carter, a partner at Castle Island Ventures, doubled down his support for the notion, stating, "I actually do believe this," before adding the following, "I call it the Bitcoin lab leak hypothesis. I think it was a shuttered internal R&D project, which one researcher thought was too good to follow on the shelf and chose to secretly release." Now, Carter has actually held the theory for several years, proposing back in 2020, a Bitcoin was written by NSA cryptographers as a monetary bioweapon, if you will. The code escaped those sensitive confines. Does that make it a virus that escaped from a lab? And in 2021, he stated the only decent thing the NSA ever did from the world was let Bitcoin leak from the lab, which he announced here on Twitter. Now, very interesting, right? Now, he went on to say that this doesn't imply that the United States government secretly controls all of the Bitcoin. Another theory that often piggybacks on the Bitcoin NSA conspiracy theory, which suggests the NSA created a backdoor to the Bitcoin code, quoting him here. "In my version of this made-up idea, the researcher did it without permission of the NSA and chose to leave the coins behind so as to preserve his autonomy." Now, there is a ton of other circumstantial evidence which supports this theory, he added. Meanwhile, some users drew attention to one of the cryptography academics, Tusakuki Akamoto, my apologies if I'm butchering these names, fam, listed in the 1996 paper, very similar to Satoshi Nakamoto. The name could have been used as inspiration for Satoshi. That's not really a critical part of the theory, though, he said. Meanwhile, Matthew Pines, director of intelligence at cybersecurity firm Krebs Stamos, believes that it is most likely a cross-fertilization of NSA crypto nerds and cypherpunk nerds, adding the following, "I suspect Satoshi had close NSA work associations, but I don't think Bitcoin itself or the white paper were officially sanctioned." We also have former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal, the macro guru, who previously shared his own theory in an interview with Impact Theory earlier this year. Here's what Raoul Pal shared. "I think the US government and the UK government invented it, which is the NSA and the GCHQ in the UK, who are the two world centers of cryptography." And then in August, Cointelegraph did a deep dive into the conspiracy theory and interviewed former NSA cryptanalyst Jeff Mann, who said that while it was feasible that the NSA could have created Bitcoin as a means to gather intelligence about its enemies, it is highly doubtful. However, he also concluded that even if they did, it is likely we'll never find out the real story behind the world's most popular digital asset until it doesn't matter anymore. Very interesting, to say the least. Here's what we know as fact. Regardless if it was inspired or created out of the NSA, nobody controls Bitcoin, including the US government, including any government of the world, and including the NSA. So you got to be thankful for that, regardless where it was birthed from. But what are your thoughts? What are your theories? Please let me know in the comments right down below.